Hey guys, welcome back. Thanks for being here. So I know this video is a little late, but Christmas, life, it's been crazy. I hope everyone had an awesome holiday. So I just listened to the podcast, and right off the bat, I'm going to say I completely agree that this episode always struck me as a bit cringy. So let's get into it and see all that I think on this one. Right off the bat, the whole scene with Brooke and Felix is just so cringeworthy. I always hated that because it's like, okay, first, it's not great for other people to be swimming in your pool. I get that. But like, it was so clear he was not Hispanic. And so I agree with the blatant racism in this one because it was just so cringeworthy. Inappropriate even for back in the early 2000s. But like they said, we weren't really talking about these things back then. How cute is Haley singing around Nathan? I just love their little moments of domesticity. Dan's dry wit. Thinking of ordering some lawn gnomes. Karen is like the surrogate mother of Brooke and Peyton. Like, all these girls don't have these moms around to be a good influence. It's so cute. I just love that Karen's kind of there and she's just so caring, and she sees that these girls need some kind of guidance. Nathan talking to the cutout of his dad, pretending like they have a nice relationship, and Keith walking in saying, well, at least the cardboard one is polite. Keith and Nathan's moment, and it's just, Keith is so proud of Nathan, and as a viewer, I feel so proud of Nathan for just doing what he needs to do and just being there. It's just, I love that moment. Okay, so personal thing, but I always am shocked that Deb is so nice to Lucas. Like, she has no reason, I guess, not to. Well, I mean, she could if she were a pettier person. But see, that's what's so shocking, how she's so mean to Haley. And then she's like so cool with Lucas. And it's just like, I get it. Oh, you took my baby boy, whatever. But it's just like, it always shocks me that she's still nice to Lucas. So it's like, it's kind of her redeeming thing almost, because she's so mean to Haley after they get married. So it's like, it blows my mind. See, I knew Dan was not changed. And then he's just so rude to Lucas. And I mean, I know he's like shocked that like Nathan's working at the dealership, but it's just like, he can't not be who he is. He's still a jerk. And, Lucas is trying to extend that olive branch and help him get back on his feet. And he's like, we're done here. Bye. Go to school. Karen and Andy's meeting is so cute. Like, I always I felt some kind of way about, their progressing relationship as it moves forward. But, it seemed good for her. Karen had been holding that, very mature, like, serious role in her life for so long with raising Lucas and running her business. So for Andy to come into it gave her that other side of herself back almost, like, or helped her rediscover that fun side of herself, I think. I know I'm getting ahead of the story on that, but I just always thought that. And I think it's so funny how she's like, oh, you're the professor. Ooh. But how he meets her is just so cute. He's acting like a student. Andy's first lesson. Everybody flunks today except for Karen. She's like, he is so cute. Felix taking Brooke's parking spot is like hilarious because she kind of deserved the park here. But at the same time, that's our girl, so I gotta root for her. Oh my God, Felix is one of those cocky little motherfuckers. It's funny to watch, but if I had to deal with it, I would just smack him, But I do love his meeting with Mouth. It's like, I'm the guy that's been here forever. I'm the forever been here guy. Oh my God, Felix hitting on Haley. I totally forgot about that. But I love that Nathan's like right there. Like, they both just like, bye. I love that Nathan and Lucas are at that place in this moment where they're just like able to have that conversation about Dan, and it's just, hey man, you do what you need to do, and it's just really open and honest and just accepting. And of course Dan is like, I want you to fire Nathan, Keith. It's like, oh, such a prick. I love when Keith stands up to Dan, and he does. I agree. He's emancipated, Dan. That's his mistake to make, you know? And you're going to have to fire him yourself if you want him gone when you come back to work. Until then, I'm in charge. Like, I love that moment for Keith. But, you know, I do agree on the podcast. They said how Dan was noticing how, you know, both his sons and his son is, I mean, his brother's running his business, and his son is working there, but for his brother, and it's just everything that he wanted, he's seeing once again, you know, Keith is kind of beating him out on in a way, because you feel that inferiority from Dan about Keith earlier on, and it's very apparent in this moment. Oh, I hate the fight between Nathan and Haley. He was trying to do something nice, but I do see her side of it. They need a car, and you know, he hasn't had to deal with money, so he doesn't really understand how all that works. And I think she was really nice about it. I mean, she could have been meaner about it, and it just it hurts my Naley heart to see them fight. But I do think it's funny when Brooke is like, Haley, boys are so clueless. I'm like 30 years away from giving them up myself. It is why Brooke hates Felix too, because he is like Brooke, just a guy. It's great. He's so bossy, just like her. Who doesn't love when Andy says, oh, to Karen, oh, so you're one of those maturity likers. I suck at grammar. Yet you're a teacher. I know, not a grammar teacher, but still, it's funny. I love that even though Andy's younger, I love that he's so wise, and he really seems to help Karen come to terms with her business expansion. Peyton's knowledge in the music world and schooling those two musicians. It was a beautiful moment. I like that Dan apologizes to Lucas when he comes back, but at the same time, I more so like that Lucas is like, hey, it's cool. It's a one-time deal. You do it again, you find yourself another trainer. He doesn't let Dan get away with it. Cringe alert. Oh my God, the whole drug thing with Peyton, it was just so forced. It was not organic in any way. It was just cringeworthy, the whole thing. It was so stupid. I like being rich. I'm good at it. And when Peyton says, oh, but Brooke, you're so much more. Yeah, but that's my favorite part. I think those are the two best lines. But you see that vulnerability in Brooke, and your heart goes out to her. Can we just say how beautiful Peyton looks in this episode? I mean, really, they really did her makeup and hair really well in this one. Her outfit was really cute. Like, it just all complimented her. So Dan and Lucas are actually having a moment of real bonding. And then, of course, Felix comes up, and this whole, like, racing the car thing, again, it's another cringe moment. It's like, really, guys? I mean, this has been done to death. Like they said on the podcast, I'm bored. Give me something else. I was very proud of Dan, because at one point I'm like, okay, Lucas could have sped up and let Felix behind him. Instead, he fell back and let him in front of him. And I was almost thinking that Dan was going to be like, why'd you do that for? But he said, you did the right thing. I was like, okay, 1 point for Dan. 1. The way Dan, like, you know, because, like, Felix was like, who you got riding shotgun? And Lucas didn't want to say his dad, but he almost did. And then Dan stepped in. Dan Scott Motors, when you're ready to trade up. And it's like, you know, that's one of those moments, like Felix and Dan, ego meeting ego. Again, it always shocks me that, you know, Deb is so supportive of Karen, but I do think it shows the depth of how mature and how much they could see around certain things from their past to become friends. And I love that Deb wants to invest in Karen's company, you know, the expansion to the bar side of it. And it's just kind of like, oh, foreshadowing. Bar Deb. Cringe alert too. I hate that they had Brooke shoplift. Like, I hate that. Like, and then the fact that Felix comes to her rescue is just so, I don't like anything about that. I always knew Dan was going to offer that car to Lucas, and I was like, oh, you just ruined it, man, because of course Lucas can't be bought. And then he's like, oh, I owe it to you. And see, you know, Lucas is like, oh, you almost had me. It's like, well, Lucas, he almost had us all. Well, not me. I mean, maybe not all of us, because, like, I knew he had not changed. Dan just can't seem to be vulnerable. He just needs to extend gifts as a way to later control people. Be like, I did that for you. Oh my God. Felix is so cocky. Like, at first it was kind of funny, but as this episode goes on, I'm like, dude. Ugh. Right there. Nathan nailed it. Dad, we both know you're not going to die, or else you can't jerk anybody's chains. Boom, right there. And when Dan asks about Haley, he goes, how's your wife? And then Deb comes out and Nathan sees her. And he's like, a lot happier than yours. Boom, boom. Oh, when Keith is showing Nathan how to fix the car, but then Nathan stops himself when he's like, yeah, my dad never taught me because he didn't want me to be like... And Keith is like, yeah, he didn't want you to be like me. But Keith owns it. He's okay with it, but it's still like, oh... Oh my God, when Nathan's like, oh yeah, she liked it. She liked the keyboard. She just wanted to have 4 wheels in a trunk. And Keith is like, I think I might be able to save your marriage. Oh my God, when Nathan is saying, so fixing up the car together is like a family project. Yeah, you bet. Oh, I love that moment. And then the side of the fender like falls off the car and Keith is like, we'll fix that. Okay, the way Nathan and Haley made up and just really communicated on this fight after this fight was so good. Like, most grown-ass people don't make up that well. So bravo to y'all. I love that. Naily forever. I find it shocking that Deb's like, oh, Nathan didn't want to see me. Well, are you surprised? You totally crap all over his wife and his life decisions. Why would he want to see you? Even in that moment of seeming clarity for Dan, like, have I been spending my life chasing the wrong things? Can I get it back? It's like, again, you almost want to believe him. And then, of course, Deb's like, I don't know, and grabs his hand. It's like a moment of reconciliation almost. I love that Karen wants to give Peyton the chance to run the all-ages night at her expansion of the business. It's such a good moment. Okay, I know they said on the podcast they didn't like the I'll give you $1,000 for a decent cup of coffee from Andy to Karen moment, but I always like that moment. I thought it was cute. And of course it ends with Brooke, I think, officially flirting with Felix. It's like, oh no. That's it for me, guys. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like and subscribe. If they do the podcast next week, I'll see you next week.